Alrighty then. Gentlemen. Yeah, I'm not even answering him, man.
Sorry.
Hey, Wilfred. What thought is that? Hey, gentlemen, I thought it was on by myself there for a second. I was like, yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh man, give me back some. Hey, Eunice, how you doing? Give me back some.
Doing well?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Well?
The family is well. Everybody good. That is more like it. Listen, don't come out here and lose your manners, man. Don't lose your manners. Mark, you're on mute. Look at you. He's sleeping too. Everybody's sleeping before this thing come up, man. Oh, wake up, fellas. Wake up.
Yeah, we're here, man. We're here.
Okay, good. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to another episode of The Living Room. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend so far, and I hope your Sunday is going great as well. As usual, this is We Global, and this is The Living Room. It's me, Andre, with Philip and Mark, my good friends. And as usual, we will just be having a good old Caribbean conversation about whatever. So we just catch up. This is what we do on Sunday afternoons. Well, in our case, now Sunday nights, I guess, guys. Look, if you're in the living room, hit share, get your whole network to come in the conversation, because I got a feeling that you're going to love this conversation today. So, hit share, invite your whole network, get everybody in. Let's have a good time. Guys, how we doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. Slow start there just now. I wasn't sure for a second. I thought, wait, it's just me.
Don't worry. No, man, we're here. We're here. The darkness is here, but we are here as well.
No problem.
Good. Still recovering from the week.
you still? Well, that's true. We had a midweek this week, didn't we? We had a.
Yeah, man.
I realized I was a little bit late to the party.
What time you show?
He showed up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock. I turned up at 4 o'clock because that's when it was estimated. 4 o'clock UK time. That's when it was estimated they would call Florida. So I thought that would be the interesting thing to come on.
Then the fun though, you're either in the election night groove or you ain't really in it.
Man, you missed the roller coaster of emotions.
Man, miss my long shoots by the time you ready to go.
I got it on catch up.
They had all kind of people on there with bellyache.
Oh, headache.
I can't watch it anymore.
Enough shoots was in there, man.
This is not good for my health.
Yeah. That was a
good night, though. It was a good hangout.
It was a good hangout, actually. It was quite good. I mean, it was like, 4 hours, 5 hours mark, I think it was, by the time you finished.
It was long.
It was long, but it was good fun. I had a good time.
I just passed through for the snacks after.
Exactly. By that time, all that was gone.
Yeah.
You're sure right. But thanks to those who joined us. We had a few people who joined in on the night for the U.S. elections live. Thank you so much, man. It was awesome spending some time with you guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was different. We kind of, it was I said last minute. We kind of decided we will do it last minute, but we were thinking about it for days, really and truly. But then we kind of decided last minute. It was good fun. I had a good time. But we see the outcome now.
Yes.
What we thinking?
Well,
Phil, your prediction nearly come true.
Yeah, well, it was.
Remind us what your prediction was again.
I did call. I thought it would have been Trump after the debate. After the first debate, I said, I think Trump is going to win this. But then after the second debate and just hearing the sense of different Americans, I thought it would be very close. I wasn't sure who was going to win. No, I just figured it would be close.
You weren't like our good friend Peter Wickham last week, who thought it would be a landslide.
Landslide clean sweep.
Nope. I ain't got to revisit those polls that he's doing though, because he get this one wrong.
Yeah, man. But I think the mood and sentiment across social media and across the world seem to be, one of relief, one of decency is returning to the White House is something that I've seen a lot of people.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah. Decency is back. Well, so it seems as though a lot of people are quite satisfied with the result.
Probably. I'm sure Angela Merkel over there doing the cabbage patch or something. Or something like that. I think that's the case. But who knows? I mean, for us here in the UK, well, it might be a different story because I think, Biden already kind of set out his stall of loggerheads with Brexit and what that means potentially for Ireland. So we got to see where that goes from there. But we'll see.
Yeah. And I see Caribbean prime ministers have been lining up one by one to extend their congratulations. You know, they're
Well,
all piling in.
I thought they were kind of quick off the draw, actually.
Yeah, so was I.
But it might be that they had a speech prepared either way, and it was just a case of pressing which one. Yeah, let's put it. Let's give them that. Let's give them that. Yeah. They already had both recorded just in case, and then it was a case of pushing which one. So yeah. I give them that. But the Caribbean has a lot to be celebratory about regarding this particular election.
I think so. You know, the Caribbean, as we said last week, you know, that's where the largest diaspora lives outside of the region. So we have a lot of people there. Trade is very important. It's very important for our tourist economy. So whatever happens in the United States is of interest to us. That's why we spend 4 hours of a night
looking at it.
We're looking at it, absolutely.
Indeed. Yeah. But I was even going beyond all of that, and because of the vice president.
Well, yes, of course. And
Vice President-elect.
Elect, well, when you say that, elect.
Well,
it's important you say elect because I think this happened with 2000 with Gore too, and I don't think he become president yet. So you got to be careful there sometimes.
Yeah, well,
this might be different.
This is a major milestone on a number of fronts. You know, Senator Harris with her Jamaican heritage and her South Asian heritage. And you know, being the first woman, this is a significant moment in history and one that should be celebrated. And you know, when you watch the debates, especially when you saw that moment when she folding the fingers, you know, it was a moment of quite importance where she's no nonsense. And I think there's a lot to be celebrated in the moment for her, and I'm quite pleased.
I think so. I think the Caribbean could be pleased that she's there. I mean, and when you think about American politics, you know, Caribbean people have played quite a significant part over the years. You know, whether you talk from Shirley Chisholm. From Barbados, and coming all the way forward as well in Obama's administration and stuff as well. You had people from Caribbean heritage there too. But you know, Kamala Harris is kind of top of the pile at the moment now with Vice President elect to her name.
Absolutely.
You know, and congratulations to her.
Yep.
You know,
so I'm sure that's gonna carry on. And listen, who have we got in the living room this week?
Well, you guys hear me talk all the time, and we talk about it all the time here as well. We keep pressing the wrong thing. That's just goes show that we're live. That's proof. This isn't recorded. Look, you guys hear me talk a lot about the fact that regarding Black people and the way how we are looked at across the world. I always say that a lot of that influence lies in a resurgent Africa and countries within Africa. I think that's pretty important for us as a people across the region, and whether you're from the United States and just across the world, Black people in general. And in Nigeria, we had the issue of SARS happening recently in the last month or so, or last couple of months. And I know West Indian people have been very much a part of that and very much supporting people regarding SARS. So we thought it'd be a good idea to have a discussion of understanding what's happening in Nigeria and connecting with our cousins as well. Obviously, ancestrally, Nigeria is a big part of the Caribbean story. So why not? We just use this opportunity to find out what's going on there, what's contributing to the SARS movement, and then that reconnection with our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. So we got Remy, who's a friend of mine who lives here in the United Kingdom. And then we have Oman Agar as well, who's a doctor, and she's in Lagos. So we're going to have a conversation about that. So it should be an interesting discussion.
No, it's good. I'm looking forward to gathering some learning this evening, actually. It should be really good.
Yeah, I think so. So let's go straight ahead and bring them in.
Hey, guys.
Hello, how are we doing?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well.
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Good.
Thank you. Oman, you're on mute there. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Hi, good evening, everybody. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
I'm fine.
Good to see you.
I'm doing well. Good to see
Excellent.
you too.
Excellent. Looking forward to this conversation. I think it's going to be a very interesting one, and I think our audience is going to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I think so. And As I said there, for me, this is all about trying to gather some further education around the whole subject. And Omar, I'd like to come to you first to kick us off. Tell us a little bit about what is going on in Nigeria at the moment. How are you doing, and how are things in terms of the movement? Just set the scene for us.
Okay, so I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
As they
Very
say, Mark can
important.
even offer a drink.
Very important.
Absolutely, family.
I did say, how are you? How are
No,
you
he,
doing?
he did
Okay.
say how are
did?
you. He
All
did
right.
say how are you.
You're not
Yeah, you
listening,
too,
Phil. You
yeah.
gotta listen.
All right. So we're I can say that we're pushing. We're doing okay right here in Nigeria. Well, in Lagos that I live. We are still on the NSARS protest. It's just that right now we aren't on the streets anymore. A lot of our protest is online, on WhatsApp, on Twitter, on Instagram, and all of that. And people are still asking questions, asking our government what happened. What happened on that day, on the 20th of October? What went wrong? What did we do? What did we do wrong? And all of that. So people are still asking for answers. The government is trying to give answers, some of them being shady. But generally, for now, we're fine. But I guess now everybody's awake. To be honest, everyone is awake. Everyone is pressing for answers. Everyone is has or is cultivating the habit of holding their leaders accountable.
Accountable.
So people are asking questions directly at our leaders, our politicians, people that we supposedly voted in. Yeah, basically. So
So,
that's the general view to how the atmosphere is right now.
so you said people are awake. Is that the full truth? Is everybody awake, or are there still a few people still sleeping?
Well, to be honest, yeah, everybody can be on the same page. It's Nigeria. Everyone can be on the same page. But I would say a good amount of people are awake. A good amount of people, at least my age, between the age bracket of 18 and let's say 35, a lot of people are speaking up, speaking out, not only
Okay.
to political issues, any issue at all that is creating like a social menace. Everyone is learning to speak up and to speak out right now. But as to if everyone is awake, I would say a good number of people are. A good number of people are.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and, let, and let's step back for a second as well. Remy, you can jump in if you want as well. End SARS. What's the meaning of it? What is SARS? Who are they? And then what was the catalyst for the movement of end SARS?
All right. SARS is, or the full meaning of SARS is Special Anti-Robbery Squad. And it was created by as an arm of the police, of the Nigerian police, to specially combat cases of robbery, special cases of robbery. There was a point in time where these cases were becoming too much. Armed robbery cases, well planned and well executed, and armed robbery cases were really rampant at the time. And this squad was created to curb that. So
Okay.
there are people that there were policemen that were supposed to be undercover, sort of. So they're not the regular uniformed policemen on the road or at the stations. They're people that aren't really obvious to the society for the purpose of,
Undercover.
surprise
Okay.
on, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So basically, that's how they started. But along the line, when you give people
Power. Too much power.
yeah, when you give people power and they're not well trained morally and otherwise, they tend to abuse. And so we find that these guys were using the fact that they were giving this much power to act independently, and they began to face civilians, people that they had no business with. Do you understand? So another thing was that the criteria for recruiting people into SARS was a bit faulty, in the sense that you find that people that were caught, that were convicted of robbery, would, after probably be given life imprisonment, And so they would tell them, oh, okay, since if you can be remorseful and serve your country, we would reduce your jail time. You come into the force and help us catch these bad guys. But
So it's okay.
yeah, go
So
ahead.
it's criminals that eventually were in SARS as well.
Yeah, actually.
Wow.
So
Oh
it was
wow.
supposed
Okay.
to be
Fascinating.
a good thinking, but I don't know how they came about that um, method of recruiting people. So they were supposed to use the bad guys to catch the bad guys.
Okay.
That was
I
the plan.
guess you use their
As
insight, knowledge,
Yeah, I
and
can see a little bit of logic in
understand.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
but if
So
the protocols aren't there set up from the beginning, that can get out of hand.
Well,
Especially
who are
training.
they going to be accountable to? Who are they accountable to?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Well,
they became a counter to put it nicely. They became a
Okay.
cancer and started acting on their own, and targeting civilians, people that are going about their daily lives. So these guys do not wear uniform like the normal police uniform. So you just realize they have these jackets, SARS, that has their inscription on it, and they have their vans that move around. So these guys are
And
supposed to be
they
fighting
carry
among us,
ID as
right?
well.
So what? No, they don't carry ID. They carry guns.
So
Wow.
That's
how
their
so how is
ID.
the society meant to differentiate between who is a SARS person and law enforcement?
I was going to say a true SARS person.
True,
I
true.
mean, funny enough, I've had an opportunity to meet some of them, and you get stopped by people in what we call
Yeah,
mufti, in civilian attire. So
Right.
people who wear just normal regular clothes with a gun. Usually, the force doesn't even provide them with boots. So you see a man jump in front of your car with slippers, but he has a, I'm not joking, with slippers, and he has a gun,
yeah,
Right.
and he tells you to pull aside, and that's the kind of oppression people in
Whoa.
Nigeria have been facing. So
Yeah.
the first time I saw it, I was not even, I was scared. I thought it was armed robbers.
Of course.
I
Yeah.
wasn't, and I grew up in Lagos, so and and they just, you couldn't differentiate them from armed robbers. But but the fact that they had an AK-47 with them, or a rifle,
She.
you thought to yourself, okay, maybe they're who they say they are. They don't have a badge on them, yeah, it's ridiculous. Look, uh, I mean, we live in England. I live in England right now, and the police force, or service as we call it right now. I mean, years ago we used to call it the police force here, but politicians have now changed it to the service, as if they,
Service.
yeah, as if they give us a service. But
Oh, dear.
but we know, yeah, in Nigeria,
No
it's
comment
still,
here, as always.
yeah, it's still the police force in Nigeria. It's a force. It's meant to use force on their people. There are two people in Nigeria: the politicians, they're force on their own, and the police. So you find out that people in Nigeria, one of two things, if you are not, you're not in that bracket of getting to that political sphere, the next place is to get into the police force. And ever since this SARS has been created, SARS has now become, now to be recruited in SARS, people pay huge bribes to get into the SARS
exactly. Yes.
force, because the SARS, it's just an easy way to extort money off people easily.
Yeah.
I used to have an office in Lagos some years ago, and the story we had this IT guy who worked with us, me and my cousin, we ran this IT outfit, and there was this day. I have this mobile. It's like a mobile Wi-Fi, so you can take it. I take it from home into the office. So this guy I was talking to was a programmer. He needed to do some work, so he said, "Look, can he use it?" I said, "Look, okay, drop it off my house when you're going home." He got to my place very late, and he explained to me that he was stopped by SARS policemen, and they were trying to extort money off him, that the mobile device was stolen, and his laptop, and they were asking him to come up with proof that it was his, meaning he should produce receipts that he bought the thing.
On
You
the
know, so
spot.
Gee.
yeah, I mean they expect you to carry receipts of,
Yeah.
and he didn't. It was later on he told me that he paid them money because
Oh wow.
he found it. He found
Easier.
it well. He found it difficult to explain to me because he thought I
Mm.
wouldn't understand that he had to pay money to get out of that situation, and without me thinking that he was trying to extort me for money.
Ah.
So I think that's the
Got it.
problem. A lot of young people in Nigeria have been facing. I mean, that's just a very, very, very
Had he not, just to understand, had he not paid that money, what would have been his fate? Likely,
well, anything. I mean,
He'll
if he
end
was
up
taking
in
this,
jail. He'll
just in
end up
jail.
in jail. They'll carry him away. They'll carry him
yeah,
away if he doesn't have the opportunity to reach out to anyone. He'd be there. They do anything they like with him. They can beat him up. They can kill him. His family may just never hear from him again. The
Okay.
possibilities are endless.
Wow.
Basically.
Oh wow.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what then was the trigger for the uprising?
Well,
Yeah. So okay.
go on,
No,
go
go
on,
ahead.
Omar.
Go on,
Go
Oman.
ahead. Okay. So I believe that there was on Twitter, like I wasn't on Twitter. It was the protest that made me join, and because I just Twitter is too much social networking for me, so I decided to.
I'm not on Twitter myself, so I understand.
I'm all over it.
Exactly. So I just noticed that there was some certain kind of buzz at the period about people talking about their experiences with SARS, and everyone had something to say. Everyone. This isn't the kind of problem that excludes celebrities or people that are rich. It touches everyone. Your low class, middle class, high class, whoever you are, as long as you're young, you look successful, and you have the looks or a car to show for it, or a phone, an iPhone to show for it, it reaches you basically. So I just noticed that everyone was telling their stories at the point. Like I said, I wasn't on Twitter, so I can't really point to what exactly started it. So on my WhatsApp, I just saw that um, there was a video of this human rights activist Aisha Yusufu, and she was one of the human rights activists that were involved in Bring Back Our Girls, the kidnapped Chibok girls, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the north.
Yeah. In
So
the north.
I just saw a video of her calling out our politicians, saying that we put them there. They are our employees and they have failed us. That this administration in power right now has really failed us. And it was odd because she's from the north, and this current administration is our president is from the north, and you don't really see northerners calling out their people.
Their own.
So it was really mind blowing and eye catching. So the next couple of days, people decided that okay, we're going to go to the streets with this, and everyone started contributing because this was an issue of life or death. I remember my parents trying to tell me not to join because obviously they're parents and they are afraid for my life. But I realized something because I had personal experience with this. It could have been me dead. It could have been my brother. It could have been my sister. It
Absolutely.
could have been someone, my uncle. So if I don't lend I just thought to myself, if I don't lend my voice now, then if this thing gets worse, then I can't say that I did something to stop it. So everyone was so people said that okay, let's do a walk, a protest for this cause, and you just realize that when a protest held in one particular place, people who probably live far away from that place would say, "Oh, can we have a protest in our part of Lagos or our part of the country?" So that's how protests started in Lagos, in Abuja, in Oyo, in different states of the country, and even in different locations in a particular state. It was everywhere basically, and everyone started to, excuse me, everyone started to pitch in, and based on their abilities. Like, I'm a doctor and I volunteered for the medical team.
Mm-hmm.
Lawyers were bailing people out of jail, people wrongly
Mm.
imprisoned were bringing people out of jail, people who were food vendors were providing food for the protesters, and all of
Okay.
that. And that's how it blew up, and it became a huge thing. And what made it really beautiful was people with um, public faces, celebrities were putting their were heading these protests. No, okay, I'll take that back. They were not heading because we pride ourselves in saying that there is no head or there is no leader of this protest.
Yeah, but they
They
were
were
using the celebrity.
contrib- they were
Status.
very
Yeah.
vocal about, and so it really encouraged a lot of other people to come out basically. So people were there. People left their job. I heard there was a friend of mine whose boss was like, oh, okay, guys, I'm going to give everybody the week off to join the protest. As long as you have proof that you joined the protest, you can decide not to come to work. You can decide to work from home. And so people were really, really supportive with the cause, and that's how it became a thing.
Because I saw the police was being a bit heavy-handed in some of the protests, but it didn't stop people. People were
Uh,
still saying, "No, we're still going to protest against this." I mean, now you said there's not a lot of protests on the streets of itself, but I know there were 5 acts or so that you gave to the government. Are you seeing a change? What are they saying now regarding SARS?
well, um, at first when the protest started, they when everywhere there was becoming it was becoming loud. Let me put it like that. It wasn't a thing of, oh, the Nigerian youth are just being youth. Do you understand? We were blocking major roads. We were stopping people from getting to work, stopping people from getting to the airports. Things were stopping in the city. So they decided that, oh, okay, we'll disband SARS. And that was funny because at first people thought, okay, that's a victory. Until, thank God for social media, until people brought out newspaper headlines of 2019, 2015,
Mm-hmm.
2014, where complaints had been made concerning the same issue. And the government also said the same thing, that we would disband SARS.
Disband
So it was
SARS, yeah.
obvious that that was something that exactly that was something that they were saying to keep the public quiet, keep the people
Mm.
quiet, or just calm them
Subdue
down.
people. Okay.
They had no exactly they had no intention whatsoever of actually, scrapping this rogue arm of the police and doing a total, reformation, or doing something really proper as to that name. So yeah, that was that. And then we continued the protest, and we said no, because of history has shown us that you actually do not intend to disband these people. So the protest continued, and some of the things that was we wanted were, sorry, um, for them to bring out people that were wrongly imprisoned for no cause, no just cause, just because the SARS officials stopped them. Two, we wanted um, remuneration for the families who have lost people. Yeah, and some other key points. But they released some people after intervention by lawyers and SARS protest lawyers. So they released some people, but we didn't really see as direct action as to the things that we were asking for. They kept saying things like, okay, you guys choose a leader for yourselves. Choose a leader for
Mm-hmm.
yourselves that would come into a closed hearing with us, and then we can, dialogue. And that's in the real sense of it. Saying that doesn't sound wrong, right? But the problem is, with the way our government is, they would go in there, they would twist things, try and make you agree to their terms, and then you come out thinking everything is okay. Meanwhile, nothing is actually going to happen.
Nothing's
Nothing is
changing.
actually
Lip service.
nothing.
Oh, sweet
So
talk.
one thing, one thing that we actually did that I believe that this process did correctly is we decided and we maintained that we do not have a leader, that our demands are clear enough. So read them, implement them, and get back to us. We're not going to have any dialogue or any kind of compromise as to those things.
I like that. It's that concept of there's no central leader or no central group of people who are
Exactly.
leading this, but there's this idea of
Exactly.
informal social networks where everyone agrees to be a leader. Everyone
Yeah.
is leading because we all adhere to a certain behavior, a certain set of values, and a certain vision, and that's proven to be the most powerful type of movement.
Yeah. A decentralized leadership.
Yeah.
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 So Remy, we got a question there from Ayana, one of our audience, who says, "Why does the government persist in having this unit? What's the agenda? Why is it there?"
Well, I mean, the police have always protected the elites of the country. That's all they do. They don't enforce any laws. I mean, look, put things in context. The typical police in this country, in the United Kingdom, studies a crash course in law to become a police officer.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you just don't become a police officer just like that. In Nigeria, the average policeman does not even know the law. So even if somebody's stating their right to do something, the police officer doesn't know. He just tells you do this, and if you don't do it, he uses force. So and the only thing the police are useful for, and that's why SARS was created. I'm not making fun of this. I'm not taking this very
No, we
lightly.
get it. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
no, because I know we're talking to a viewership of people apart from Nigerians, because Nigerians know this, that police don't protect them. The police officers, all they do is protect their elite, protect their properties, protect their lives. You see, every single person in Nigeria who has any form of status has a police officer going around with him 24/7. Going around with their kids, taking their kids to school, taking their wives to work. I mean, if you look at any typical politician in Nigeria, a police officer will carry the bag of the politician's wife. Yeah, I mean, it's that bad. Yeah, I'm not, every single CEO of a big company in Nigeria, multinational company, has a police officer in his car going everywhere with him, and then there's a robbery and there's no police officer. And then they create this unit called the SARS, anti-SARS. And this unit has so much powers now that now all they do is extort money from citizens of the country.
Regular citizens. Yeah.
Yeah, and as Omom said, I think on social, because of the power of social media, when the activist Aisha made that speech and it went round, I think people just, and that shows how powerful social media is. It got into the psyche of people, and she spoke to the soul of people. She spoke to people, and for once I condemn the young people in Nigeria. For once, they did not see ethnicity. They did not see tribalism. They did not see all those things. They did not see religion. And a typical I don't want to generalize people in Nigeria now, but a typical age bracket of people in Nigeria see things only in those lights. They see tribalistic. They are tribalist. They are I've said they're tribalist. They are religious. And if it doesn't fall in those lines, and even on political lines, they just don't buy into it. So I mean, a typical Nigerian family tells the daughter not to marry from a certain region in the country. So but our psyche is changing with the young people, and I think that's what changed and galvanized that movement. And kudos to the young people who took this on their shoulders for all
who
of us.
took on the issue. But you even mentioned as well to me, but you went to a protest here, and tribalism came into it as well with someone who was speaking. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, there was this protest that I went to on the Sunday, and it was meant to be in front of Downing Street. I mean, I which I wasn't really interested in going to Downing Street because
Overly keen about.
yeah, I'm tired of we getting the West involved in our problems. Every single time they get involved in it.
That's interesting.
They make
Yeah,
it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use it. They use it as a bargaining chip for themselves. So
It's true. Oh,
yeah. But
Interesting
I
point.
thought
Yeah.
I thought I would go there to lend my voice because some people in Nigeria have shed blood. Unfortunately, on the 20th of October, that was my birthday, and that was when the police officers shot.
Shooting.
Yeah, the mass shooting. So I felt this burden that I have to go to this. So I went there, and we had a nice protest, and people were speaking, and this gentleman jumps up on a microphone there, and he goes on this rant about Fulanis and how the Fulanis were our problems. And I thought, no, this, and instinctively I just told him, I told him to hush it, that look, it's got nothing to do with
no, but that's the right thing to do.
yeah, I told him that it's got nothing to do with Fulanis, that everyone is complicitly involved in this thing. There are Yoruba people involved, there are Igbo people involved in corruption in Nigeria. It's got nothing to do with just Fulanis only. And if you remember, the young people in Nigeria who started this movement were all Nigerians. They were from all parts of Nigeria, had nothing to do with ethnicity. So it just shows you that there's a class of people, and I think it's got to do with the demographic, has got to do with the age, and the elites also, who see everything in that context. So so I mean, that was my experience in London here, and then immediately I had to leave the place because I wasn't comfortable at all.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I was going to add something there. So on Twitter, my favorite place to be, not really. I tend to follow a few right-wing nationalists just to tune and test my emotional intelligence, right? And one of the things that they said when the SARS started was, look at these people, because it was around the same time as the Black Lives Matter protests were still culminating and still going. And what they were saying is look at them. They talk about Black Lives Matter and now look at what's happening in Nigeria. The police are against their own. And the other thing they were, of course, talking about, it's during a pandemic and with the protest in London especially, there was a lot of disparaging comments about people not wearing masks and so on. Was there awareness of this sort of criticism, and did anybody care?
Well, firstly, I want to, I've heard people compare Black Lives Matter with things like the NSAS protest, and I think it's a bit unfair. To start off with, Black Lives Matter is about racial injustice. It's about you being unjust to people because of the basis of their color. That's what Black Lives Matter is about. It's about Black people being made to feel less than human. That's what But what's happened in Nigeria, it's got nothing to do with Black people hating Black people. It's economic.
Injustice.
Yeah, it's economic. It stems from economics. So when you listen to radio shows in London here and they're talking about, knifing in London and all that kind of stuff, everything is economic. It's not black on black crime. There's nothing like black on black crime. I mean, if you go to Italy, you don't hear people talking about olive on olive crime, it's all economic.
You're
it's
right.
based on economics. It's about you come and take my drugs, I get rid of you, So in Nigeria, it was all economics. It had nothing to do with the fact that Black people we're all Black people in Nigeria, mostly anyway.
Absolutely.
So it's really economic. Nigeria is one of the most, I mean, if you think about it's the most populous black nation in the world right now. And if you think about what that is in size of numbers, and we are far behind, and we're almost dropping into we're almost dropping into that range of a failed state in that index of poverty. If you look at other nations that have large numbers like China, India, they have pulled out millions of people out of poverty in India, millions of people out of poverty in China. But Nigeria, we've gone the reverse. I was looking at an
Okay.
index. Yeah, I was looking at an index today, and we dropped 2 points. We're almost in the last red zone. I've forgotten what it's called. But I
Yeah.
mean, we've really regressed, and that's what's happened. And it's got to a boiling point where some Nigerians have been lost. And I know we're going to get to that place.
Interesting enough, that index, because I had a look at that a few weeks back for some other work I was doing,
Yeah.
and that seems to be a common trend around West African and sub-Saharan states.
Yeah. We're almost in that repressed zone. We're just 2 points away from that repressed zone, and we're in a zone where we're going close to places like Sierra Leone, Liberia, places Suriname that are just coming out of serious civil wars, and this is a country that has a democratic system of government, that we have people that we voted for. Nigeria is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Period.
Okay.
And I know some people don't like to hear that, and
I don't like to hear it.
yeah, as a
I
Nigerian,
told you earlier, I'm 44% Nigerian, so
yeah, as a Nigerian, I don't want to hear that we're one of the most corrupt nations in the world, because and that's why as Nigerians we come up with all these things. We hear of great Nigerians doing things around the world, and we sing their praises so much because we all
And rightfully so, though. Rightfully so.
Absolutely, I
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
I do that,
yeah.
and I think it's because of how bad things are in Nigeria, and credit to this generation, and it's this generation that has given you, if you think about it, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, any good news that has come out of that country has come from this generation. In this generation, I mean, when you in London today, if you ask a typical British boy or girl what they know about Nigeria, first thing they're going to tell you is going to tell you about the music. That's all they know. They're going to tell you about the music, the culture, the movies, the great authors they have, like Chimamanda, Teju Cole.
Yes.
They're going to give you those names of great people from Nigeria. That's all they're going to do. They're not
Fela
going to tell
Kuti.
Oh, fuck, absolutely.
come on.
I must admit,
That's
he's
my
not,
boy.
I must admit he's not from this generation, but
No,
Yeah,
no,
he's-
but
he's
still.
not. Music
I
is-
think he was ahead of his time when you listen to the stuff he said, though. He was,
well, yeah,
he was,
Actually,
you're absolutely right, Andre. He was a
he
great.
was way ahead of his time.
He was very prophetic in his music. I mean,
Yeah.
and his son also in Nigeria, he has two sons who are into music, Shehu
Right.
Kuti and Femi. They're very conscious. They sing conscious music. So I mean,
it's on my bucket list to go to the shrine, Remy. We need to make the trip.
my bro. I mean, I remember the first time in university I went to the shrine. A friend of one of my friends in university said, "Oh, let's go to the shrine," and I got scared. I thought, "Shrine?" Yeah. Growing up, my parents say you don't go to the shrine because it was heard. I mean, people smoke. The herbal.
Get a little buzz. Get a little buzz.
The pharmaceutical dog. Yeah, they smoke a little bit of it there. But I was my consciousness was diverging the first time I went to the shrine. First time where someone was so conscious to me, and I sat down there. I remember that whole holiday when I was back at home. I would go to the shrine, and I would always have to find a lie to tell my parents to go to the shrine. I'm going to an uncle's place to spend the night, or I'm going to my cousin's place, or I'm going to a party just around the corner from home to go to the shrine. My parents should never have known that I went to shrine.
It's on my list. It's on my list. It's on my list.
Educate us, what is the shrine? I'm curious. What's that?
Shrine is it's a place. It's a space where Fela Kuti created, where he sings his music, and there's dancing, there's culture, and so you go there. But it was even the political education we got there. On a Friday night where we normally used to go from school, it was called Yabi's night, and we'd get there, and during the session he would stop and he would talk to us about the political class. Now, these are things that my parents would never look. We come from a culture where you don't speak ill about the elders, or you don't tell your dad that he was wrong. So our government was never wrong. So our parents would never criticize the government. Like over here, where we critique the government, we critique everything. We couldn't do that. So the only place you could hear criticism about the government was in shrine. Newspapers wouldn't do it. So the shrine. So you would hear stories that you would never hear of in the papers in shrine. And apart from that, you used to see for the hot-blooded male. We used to see some finely cladded women in shrine altars. So,
Okay.
Oh,
dancing.
that's another conversation. That's another conversation.
Well, listen, I want to just
Blooded
put this question back up here because I think this is something that Remy was touching on. You know, about the wider societal ills and what is necessary. And one of our audience members here is asking what external interventions, if any, would that help? Oman, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I don't know if you guys heard the speech our president gave about the shooting at the Lekki toll gate, and
Yeah.
he, amongst all the many things he said, he categorically said that foreigners should back off. Basically, that is coming from our own president. I was asking my friend that works with the AU that wait, can't don't people see how much wrong is being done in Nigeria? Can't they swoop in and save the day like Avengers or something? And she made me she made me to understand that it doesn't necessarily work like that, except a country invites these
Makes the
people
requests.
exactly for help. They can't just come into a country and disrupt things. They have to be invited of some sort, and they have. I know that they have probably tried before to help out to come and do one or two things, but our government doesn't want that to happen. They want to be in sole. They want to have autonomy over what's going on. They want to be in control because they are aware of what they're doing. So every help that is being rendered from external bodies is being pushed away, is being, repelled, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about it, it's two things because I think Remy said it as well. Is
He
that
did.
unfortunately, so a place like Nigeria, which is very wealthy in minerals and oil and different places, foreign entities would come in if they see their interests being impacted. If the oil fields and stuff started to burn or, the pipelines started to have issues, all of a sudden you'll see some people coming in. But sometimes, unfortunately, under the guise of human rights and helping, they come to extort a little bit more and create more issues that are there. So it's kind of twofold in my head. When I look at it, issues like this for me, initially my first thought is the young people and the people in Nigeria need to take this on the, to get it going and to really, really get it going for it to stick.
You know something? I want to paint a picture of what happened on the 20th of October. And and it for what happened that day, and none of the international medias showed it on TV. That's what hurts me, so much. On that day, the young people knew the police were going to come. That's what they knew, that because at a certain time they were prepared for it. So they had their flags in their hands. They had flags wrapped around their bodies. And when the army came, or whoever came, or the police, the forces came, they all were on their knees and they were singing the national anthem.
Yeah. I saw
Now
that,
you think about it. If I had the
Union Jack.
The Union Jack, I was going to say the Royal Jack. The Union Jack wrapped around me in Trafalgar Square, kneeling down singing God Save the Queen, and a police officer shot me, what do you think would have happened?
Wow.
While I was singing God Save the Queen. We were singing our national anthem. Our national anthem is one anthem that I'm so proud of. You should hear the words of that anthem. It's so powerful, so moving. And for an officer, that's why I told you, look, these people they've only protected their job description. They've been told is to protect the elite. I'll tell you something about the Nigerian elite. The Nigerian elite are the most what's the word here? They have let the people down. just to be put it very mildly. The quality of our elite is so poor. Our elite, they're so poor. The way they treat each other, they treat their own citizens. I mean, you can't see an elite even take a look. The elites, they create everything for themselves. There's no light, there's no electricity in Nigeria. They all have generators. There's no water, they have a borehole in their house. The elites always find a way around everything. They never speak up for the masses. They never speak up for the country as a whole. They're very self-centered. I'll give you a picture of the typical Nigerian elite. Will drop off his child in school in the morning, say a 10-year-old kid in school in the morning. On his way to work, would stop by on the road, put his hand out of his window of his car, and buy gala. It's like a sausage snack from a 10-year-old kid.
Wow.
And he will not think, and he will not think in his mind, hold on, I've just dropped off my own kid in school. Why is this kid not in school? Wow. Look, what has happened in Nigeria is there is a large percentage of Nigerians that are the lost kids of Nigeria. And what's happened is it has tipped over now. It's got so much now that it's tipped over. And if you listen to the narrative the press is giving, all they say, is the hoodlums. They've burnt down Lagos. They've burnt down buildings. They've burnt down this. And that's the quality of our elites. All they think about is their properties, their money. No one is bothered. No one is screaming about the lives of people lost. And all of these elites, they listen to CNN, they watch CNN. One person gets killed in Tottenham. What did we do in Tottenham? One person gets killed in Brixton. We burned the place down. In LA, it was burnt down. George Floyd, the whole of America was on fire because they value life. But in Nigeria, the next day on the 21st, all I could hear, was these hoodlums have taken over the protest. And you sit down and think to yourself, they're not, we created these people, they're the lost kids of our country. These are people who have not had any education at all. These are people whose dreams and aspirations have been snatched away from them. I mean, I gave you some statistics that I was just quickly.
Hold the statistic there for a second. Omam, I know you need to go in a second, but I wanted to give you the final word before you go. We've talked about a lot. You're talking to your Caribbean cousins here as well, and I know they're all behind you. Where do you think things are going? I guess I know what you want to see, but what's the next steps, and where do you hope to see the end of this?
Well, to be honest, every Nigerian youth, nobody, if you ask a regular Nigerian youth, nobody can really say how things are going to go. But there are steps that we're trying to put in place. We admit, first of all, that we have a fault in the sense that you wouldn't see, it's not regular for you to see someone between the ages of maybe 18 to 30 or between mid 20s, being so interested in politics because of how dirty it has been. It has been painted. So we don't know when district elections are going on, when our local government chairman is being elected. We don't know any of those things. The only election that really makes it to the news or makes it or is really loud is the state elections and then presidential elections. So we have admitted that this problem comes down to the grassroots, and we have to be interested in the nitty-gritty of our leadership. We have to know when our senators are being elected. We have to know when our local government chairmen are being elected. So there is much noise and much buzz about that. So one thing I really appreciated post protest was the fact that people were now coming out to say, oh, okay, this zone, this region, this local government, they're about to hold an election for your district. Get involved, know who they are, make sure they're credible. Don't just go with the person that has the most money. Go with the person that has, read their credentials and try and pick with wisdom. And then everyone is saying, oh, okay, get your voter's card. Our next election, our next presidential election is in 2023, which is, it looks like a long time from now. But the truth is, it springs up on us if we do not take necessary precautions. So everyone is saying that get your PVCs. normally, last election I voted, but before then I wasn't really interested. I'll admit I wasn't really interested in the Nigerian election. There is a narrative that it is always rigged, no matter what you do, no matter how many hours you stand on the queue trying to vote for your candidates. The people that would want to rule Nigeria will get in by hook or by crook. But
Okay.
we're trying to change that narrative now, and
Yeah.
we are trying to understand that we have power. I mean, it's a democracy. The people have the
Yeah.
power. So
Yeah.
I'll just say that what I can see, the only way is for us to, get involved in the
Yeah.
seemingly little areas of politics and leadership of our country, basically.
Yeah. You got to stay mobilized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Oman, I know you need to go, but thank you so much for joining us here.
Really
Guys in the
appreciate the
audience,
time.
thank Oman for taking some time
I
to
had
join
lots.
us.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Omar.
you.
Remi's going to
Thank
stay
you.
and,
Thank you
and
so
be
much.
the voice of Nigeria.
Well, I'll try.
Thank you, Oman.
I can't
No
be the voice
pressure.
of 200
Enjoy the
million.
rest of the weekend. Okay,
Omar,
thanks.
enjoy the sun for us.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, Remy. So no pressure, but you can handle yourself. You're good. We are friends and cousins. So tell me something, Remy. Let me just to segue the conversation a little bit and just further not understand because I think we know it, but further explore that connection between the Caribbean and Nigeria specifically. So you've been watching Journey of an African Colony recently, and you were saying that it actually enlightened you a bit about your connection with the West Indies, a connection that you didn't really feel before, but you do now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we in Nigeria we don't really get much of a. The history we get has been distorted. The history we get taught in Nigeria has been distorted, and we see it from the prisms of the colonial masters
Yeah.
and how they want us to see ourselves from their own
History is written
yeah.
by the conqueror.
absolutely. And I mean, I've been to this slave fort in Badagry in Nigeria. That's part of the Blight of Benin. I've been to that one. I'm hoping to go to Ghana, the one in Ghana. I'm hoping to go to the one in Ghana very soon. But I've been there, seen the shackles.
Keep going.
Yeah, and I've seen all that, but that was the extent of slavery. And if I try to think back, what was I thinking? I didn't think, and I don't think a lot of people my age group thought that we were slaves. We were never brought up to believe that our ancestors were slaves or part of our heritage. We had slaves taken away from us, you know. I didn't think in that light. I didn't think that far because it was not brought into our light, you know. It wasn't brought into that sphere of things. And you know, I mean, we brought up everyone, you know, from the region I come from the southwest. I mean, we have names like Ade, which means king. So we all think that we are all part of this royal family, and we are all great people and conquerors, and our names mean a lot of fantastic, meaningful things, you know. And I love our culture because, you know, when you even see people's names and you look back, you can see, yeah, that name embodies who they are, you know, speaks about that person.
Yeah.
So I understand our culture and I see how powerful that is. So, you know, and that makes you think that nothing like that ever happened. And I just thought the colonials came to conquer us and just came to rule us. And I didn't know that nastiness happened before that. You know, yeah, I didn't know all that nastiness.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you a little story. Bit funny, but I bought this bracelet here that I have on. I bought this from two Nigerian girls. They sell dashikis and loads of Nigerian products. And this was just after I was chatting with my brother. He said, "Oh, he did his DNA test and found out that we have 44% of our DNA is Nigerian." I thought that was fascinating. I never thought it was. So I was relaying it to these two girls and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm 44% Nigerian," and their response to me was, "Oh, that doesn't surprise me. You know, us Nigerians, we love to get around." And I was just, so I was like, "You."
I didn't even know that's where you were going with that.
I was like, "You do know
Yeah.
Caribbean
Well,
history?"
that's a lack of the education that we had.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, 12 million, the transatlantic slave, there were 12 million people sold into slavery from Africa. 4.8 million, almost 5 million, were from the region of present day Nigeria today. 5 million came from present day Nigeria. That's about 40% of slaves.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were mostly taken to the Caribbeans, and then some taken to Cuba and Brazil, you know, and a little bit in Portugal and that kind of places. But the large percentage, so there's no now. I now understand why 40% of black people in the Caribbean would have some ancestral genes.
Nigerian DNA.
You now realize why I'm so loud. No, you get it.
Are you saying we Nigerians are loud? Hey,
My mom was very soft spoken.
You gotta be at least 60% if Phil is 44.
I would be surprised.
Listen, I want to just explore something before you go on there, Dre. You've been kind of referencing a little bit, Remy, about the regions and the culture and how it's different in different parts of the country. Give us a little bit of a flavor of how it breaks down in looking at this map, so people can understand what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, I come from the southwest of Nigeria, which you can see not too far. It's a city called Shagamu, not too far from Lagos, just on the outskirts of Lagos. We come from the southwest, where Lagos is down to the south. That's part of the blight of Benin. It's called
Benin.
All the way to like Togo, Ghana, and those are where and that's where the Atlantic is, and that's where the traders came to ply their trade in human beings, you know. So most of that happened. Most of the transportation happened from Africa, and so we've got some people from the south. I come from the south of Nigeria, so we've got the Yoruba Igbos, southeast, and then you've got the northerners, and they're more mostly Hausa speaking people. So we've got three. I'll say like three main languages, but we've got about some 400-500 dialects. But the three main are the Yoruba, Igbo, and the Hausa. And yes, so and the Hausas are from the north part of the country. They're from that larger bit of the country. And yes, so and we've got a middle belt people in the middle there, but it's a complex.
Of course,
it's a complex amalgamation. I mean, it was called the amalgamation of Nigeria. You know, where when the colonials came, took basically three different countries or two different countries, 4 different countries, and put it together and formed this country, Nigeria. You know, I'll be honest. I think we are better off together. I like us as a people. The culture is rich. You know, it's beautiful. So I mean, I wouldn't want anything to break it up. You know, but we have problems, and these problems were created from the start. You know, and there's still so much ethnicity going on. You know, I mean,
it was last year there was some serious conflict between the Hausa and the Fulani. Was it there with the farmers?
The herdsmen, the Fulani herdsmen. Yeah. So they are graces. They graze from the northern part of Nigeria and come all the way to the south, where in the north it's more arid, and in the
Yeah.
south it's more green. So they bring all their cattle to the, and they come, and I think it's been very politicized now. But
Yeah.
apparently they come in with guns and come into people's lands and shoot them and kill them, and the president hasn't really done anything about it.
Wow.
I remember I had some strong words with a few people about it. They were trying to make it into a very religious sort of battle, because I think one side was Christian, the other were Muslim.
Yeah, I mean, Nigeria's probably. I mean, every election we have, if you have a president who is Christian, you have to have a vice president who is Muslim.
Mhm.
If you have a president who is Muslim, the vice president has to be Christian. It's not based on any. It's not based on any.
Just keeping the different
Trying to
factions
hold the
happy.
piece together.
Yeah, it's just to have this pact. We have all these words bantered around in our parliament or in our houses of representative and our senates. It's all quotas. They talk in quotas. So it's nothing is based on merit anymore. It's based about quotas, and it's a sorry case. But I see a new wave of people, and it's the young people that's changing the narrative.
Wow.
It's exciting.
Yeah, and they're not thinking. They're not thinking. I mean, if you think about it, even young people in England here now, they don't think about color anymore. My sons don't think in color. So I mean, most of the time I catch myself, talking about color. They cringe. They don't think about color. In Nigeria, we think along two lines or three lines. It's ethnicity, religion, and political affiliation. Yeah, and that's all. And sometimes you can't even marry a lady.
Outside.
Outside all those lines.
That's what I'm saying. I think younger people I chat with, they still think about color, especially people from a black heritage. But the difference is they don't feel limited by it. I think generations back they would have felt heavily oppressed. I sort of say we've gone through these three phases as black people. We've gone from oppression, just around the time of slavery, into a time of suppression, which was the 1900s. And right now, I think our condition is the era of impression, which is something we still have to come out of. This impression of inferiority versus superiority of other races. I think that's the big challenge for us to work on.
And speaking of impressions, let's go back for a second there, Remy, from a history. You talk about what's being taught in schools and stuff regarding history and understanding history around slavery. But is there anything taught about the West Indies, about the Caribbean and the people of the Caribbean to make that connection going?
Well, it's a shame that Omom has gone. While I was in school, nothing like that was taught. Well, I wasn't that smart anyway, but hey.
What, meaning that you probably didn't hear it?
Maybe. Maybe it was said and I just didn't pay any.
You didn't catch it.
But seriously speaking, I don't think anything like that was. What was being taught to us were the people that we hear of. We hear of the Africans who they approved of, Jaja Fokobo, Bishop Ajayi Crowder. These were black people who were part of who they really had in their own armory. They used them. I'm not saying that people didn't stand up for good. They did a lot of good. These men, these ancestors of mine that I've spoken about, but they didn't tell us about in our history until recently. Most of us are just starting hearing about great people of Nigeria. Great. They were great. They were great people who fought the British when they came to colonize us, to take us over. They were great Africans. They were great people. The Aba women riots. These were women in an area that stood up. I mean, trust me, I respect women. I've always respected women. For youngs. I mean, women they have changed every single narrative in our lives, you know. I mean, and they stood up. I mean, we've got Fela Kuti's mom, Fumilayo. She was the first woman who ever drove a car in Nigeria, from recollection. Yeah, and she stood up against the government. I mean, she was a fight. She deposed a king. There was a king in Abeokuta, where she's from, and she stood up and got women, and they got rid of that king. Wow. It's like getting rid of a president of a country. Yeah. I mean, women are just so powerful, you know.
Formidable, man.
Yeah, but most of these people are not in our histories. They've just wiped them off, and they've just given us all these histories about people that they want us to see as our heroes. And you know,
no, it's interesting you say that. And I asked the question about what's taught in schools because you know, we have the same issue in the Caribbean too.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. About what's taught in schools about our history. And unfortunately for me, far too often, our history, as far as what's taught in schools, sometimes starts at slavery. Yeah. And I'm like, no, there's a whole heap of history before that, but that's never really taught. So having that connection, so we see ourselves, I mean, that's beginning to change now. Yeah. But if you think about how the schools teach our history, slaves first and then we come forward. And it's like, no, we came from slavery was not the start of our story as a people. No. It started before then. And then it's interesting to hear from the Nigerian side that you say, with that point, you don't really talk about that. So, and you don't really learn about it. So there's no connection. And unfortunately, I think that's where the disconnect is.
I remember when I came to England in the 80s, and the West Indians, you know, we saw them as, you know, they were black people, you know, they looked like us, but they were different. We saw them differently, you know. And, you know, sometimes I just wish, if I knew the history of the West Indies before, when I came, and I knew who they were, you know, it would be so much respect. Firstly, it would be the fact that we're brethren. We were.
Because you said you went to Jamaica. You didn't even go visit the maroon villages and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the history that you should be going to Jamaica and taking it. Well, the Kwashis of Carriacou and different places. That's where you need to go.
I stopped on the tourist trail, man.
Oh man, you honestly went to Jamaica and do the whole all inclusive thing, right? Seriously, you should be shamed.
Looking at the airport.
Well, I had the curry goat, I had the jerk chicken, you know.
All ordered in.
Served every day at the restaurant in the hotel.
Well, I went on trips to the main town. What's the downtown?
Kingston.
No, not Kingston. Not Kingston. The one in Montego Bay. What's that one?
Ocherias.
No. The main. What's it called? The city center by Montego Bay. I've forgotten what's called now.
Don't even know myself. Yeah, but anyway, you missed the real experience you should have had in Jamaica. That's the point.
Yeah, we can arrange something very soon again. You know.
I agree. We should arrange something.
And then we should pop down to Barbados. You know, go see my cousins.
But is this something that is happening across the wider Nigerian family, Remy, where you are exploring the West Indies and wanting to make those connections actively?
Well, look. To be honest with you, I mean, I've just started connecting the dots of a lot of things I have read in the past. Yeah. You know, I've just started connecting all the dots. You know, you know, I must say, this period in time that we've been at home now for almost a year has been one of the best times in the world for us to think, and it's given me time to research a lot of things, you know. And I think Black Lives Matter and all that stuff has given me more time to do more research into a lot of stuff, and I can see how all these things are interconnected. And before then, you know, I just thought, the Caribbeans were slaves who were moved from somewhere in Africa, you know. And you know, I would have thought maybe Ghana, maybe. To be honest with you, I mean, arrogantly, you know, for some reason, I just didn't think Nigerians were made slaves. You know, that was just me. You know, and but it's because we don't have. It's not something we talk about in our history, and it's not something that even on day-to-day things we don't even have a remembrance to our lost brothers who were sold away. You know, and this is a country that almost 5 million people, and at that time, in the 1800s, Africa had a population of about 90 million, and
Mhm.
so that was a huge percentage of Africa that left from one country, you know,
Yes.
and that country. I mean, if I think about it, Nigeria is the largest number of slaves left from Nigeria, and Nigeria doesn't have anything towards remembrance of them. And if you think about it, uh, Nigerians, and we all dotted around the world. I mean, we're the biggest black nation in the world.
That's real.
So where you go, everywhere you go, you see a Nigerian there. Yeah, and
Oh, you hear them.
Heard him first.
and now,
You hear them first.
and now when I think about it, I think, oh my God, 40% of the Caribbeans are even African right now. So they're Nigerian right now. So we are everywhere, man. I mean, we probably have a Nigerian as a Bayesian president right now, or prime
Could
minister.
be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Very
She
possible.
might be.
Yeah,
She just
sure.
might be.
Yeah. So
I was just gonna mention two words I think could connect Nigeria and the Caribbean easily.
Oh Lord, go ahead.
Jollof rice.
You-
do you have jollof
That
rice
got
in-
my approval right there, folks.
Had it a few times. The first time I had it, I was like, "Excuse me." Could not stop you. Tell me a little
Give me
bit.
more.
Nothing like it. There is nothing like it.
I'm sure Andre normally has it in our get-togethers most of the
yeah,
time.
I'm a jollof rice man, man.
Yeah.
Bit too hot for me sometimes, but that's but Philip, right? Food, I'm
Yeah.
sure if you go across the West Indies, the Caribbean, you will recognize some of the food that you see there.
Yeah.
We might call it something different,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you'll recognize some of
Loads
the
of
dishes
similarities.
and that kind of stuff. There's some similarities that you'll find there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see a lot of people in the audience today are citing that precise point. From their travels, they've seen these similarities in moving around the continent, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And even us. I mean, the funny thing as well, Remy, is that and we found this out as well, even in one of our shows as well, is that as slavery was being abolished, there were still ships going across to the Caribbean,
Yeah.
and when they landed, slavery was abolished, so they were not slaves. So they have pockets in the Caribbean where actually the African culture was kept alive because they never changed. They never had to change their names.
They didn't change
They were
the
they were
names,
never in
customs.
bondage. So a lot of this stuff is still there in different parts of the Caribbean. You'll see there.
There's a movie coming out on National Geographic very soon. There's a ship called the Clotilda, and it was the last known ship that came into the Americas, that went into Alabama. 50 years after the end of slavery, that brought in slaves from, guess where? Nigeria.
Nigeria.
The last slaves that got into Alabama in 1860 was on a ship called the Clotilda. And when those people regained their freedom, because when they realized they were free and whatever happened, they created a town called Africa Town in Alabama.
Yes, I've heard,
Yeah.
I've heard the story,
And majority of the people were Yoruba speaking people, So, but these are all histories that you think about. Nigeria has so many problems, and our problem is just it doesn't have so many problems. It has only one problem: it's corruption, and we have been fighting that corruption problem for 60 years. And that's why we're firefighting all those things, and we don't have time to be that great nation we should be. We don't have time to be the people we should be. And all we do is now Nigerians, you find when we hear Nigerians about to become the WTO World Trade Organization head, we're all happy. And I'm thinking, this is a country that we think that we're educated people. WTO is an anti-African organization.
It's true.
Yeah, it's set up. It's set up to make sure Africa does not rise. It's set up to make sure that our trade, we don't we don't have proper trade to compete with the Western world. You know,
Yeah.
the IMF, the Paris Club, they're meant to
Or continue taking your raw materials, never
yeah,
letting you go to
they're,
the next
they're meant
level.
to keep us in that ever cycle of recurring debt. I mean, I was going to reel out some statistics about about how corrupt we are. You know,
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
dear.
yeah.
Look, don't discourage West Indians from going to visit Nigeria. No, I think you do a good job. That people probably want to go. Don't discourage them now. You know.
Well,
bring up the truth, and then we'll come back.
The problem is we have a Nigerian proverb that says "Ile" is a Yoruba proverb. It says "Ile labosim yoko," and I'll translate that for you. Is that home is the resting place? You know, after you go home after your toil in the farm. So a lot of people who are Africans, who are Africans, who have Africa in their blood, they're going to go to the motherland whenever, at some point in their life. They're going to go there to step foot on that, to see where their ancestors came from. You know, and I hope most Caribbeans, I hope most of you West Indians go back to Africa, somewhere in Africa. Go there, put your feet on that ground. Africa is a beautiful place. You know,
Ile, listen, it's
it's a beautiful place.
It is there.
But we have to be honest with what's happening in Africa. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to,
I agree.
Yeah, you know, for a wound to heal itself, you have to expose it. You know, expose the wound to the elements, to the sun, to God. You know, to the sun, to the elements, for it to heal it. You know, and what we've been doing is we've been covering up. You know, so you know, we always fight back, and we want to speak about the great things. You know, and yeah, I do speak about the great things. I mean, they're great things. I mean, and the only reason Nigeria is a big population, that's why out of every black person you would see a great Nigerian, because we are loads of people. you know. But everybody
produce people well. We know this.
Absolutely. You know? And every country believes that they are great, and every country is great. I mean, I don't believe in the American idiom that says, "Oh, God bless America," and to the rest of the world. You know, I believe God bless everyone, all the countries. I think all countries are great countries. Nigeria is a great country also, but we have to deal with. And my generation, we've not done anything to it, and these young people are doing it. Yeah. So you know what? We could get out of the way and let them deal with this thing. I'm just waiting for this for the curfew to be lifted and the
COVID to pass.
Yeah, the COVID to pass. The kids are going to go back out. There's no getting out of it from these people, you know. So, and I just hope our Caribbean brothers and sisters lend a voice, you know, because I haven't seen a lot of African nations, but you know, the African leaders, most of them are just old deadbeats anyway. But I haven't seen a lot of it. I hope this doesn't go out to the world, because I don't want some. I don't want some
You wait late.
I don't want some African dictators coming after me. You know, I would want a lot of our black folks all around the world to lend a voice. To this great nation, Nigeria. Yeah, to lend a voice to it, to speak up for it, to encourage them, you know, to just be behind them, you know, and lend them their voice, you know, because they're not going to be able to do it alone. And you know, trust me, we're all Africans, you know, we're all people from that source, you know, and
no, I fully agree. So you mentioned one place just now, but so almost every place we talk to people from, we end up saying, well, we gotta go, right? So we know now we got Nigeria. And you know, the Horn of Benin, or what, you know, hopefully I got that name right, as well. On the Blight of Benin, because you got to do Ghana as well, you know. So 2 or 3 places in Nigeria. Well, you know, I go into the shrine already. I will not partake, but the fumes might do something to me. But you know, I'll take that excuses already. So tell me, where do we have to go? Where do we have to go in Nigeria?
Most of you are musically inclined. I think one of the places you need to go is the shrine. You know.
Yeah, but that's on the list already.
Yeah. So
So
you go there, you would sample, and then you see the people. Nigerian people are great people. You know, they're very open, loving. It's just like West Indies people. When I went to Jamaica, they were just lovely people. You know, very open. very laid back, and I understand it. If you've got so much water, blue water around you, and sun, you will be laid back.
Very true.
Yeah. But Nigerians are very open. So Lagos is a place to go to. Lagos is what's the word here? It's a mega cosmopolitan city.
Okay.
You have everything in Lagos. You have the Hampstead suburbs. You have the ghetto. And I'm talking about real ghetto. Nigeria is just a place to, and then in Nigeria there are other beautiful places you can go to. You can go to places in the middle belt area, Jos. They've got a lot of It's a very mountainous area. There are a lot of mountains there. Funny enough, I've never been there before. You can go to Ogudu Cattle Ranch. It's like a resort. Probably that's not really where you want to go to, really, but the nature there is awesome. That's why I'm only recommending it. The nature is just beautiful and awesome.
What would be the best way of getting around? And if you go on your own, would that be advised, or should you?
Well, according to him, we got to hire a policeman.
Well,
you're going as an elite. You're going as one of the elites, then, Barry.
We just got to go and marry Broski.
Oh, true. He had to take it there.
Yeah, right, man.
He had to go there, Phil. You see, I have not disclosed my Nigerian percentage deliberately this evening, but anyhow, carry on.
Yeah.
I've been looking at Mark.
Listen, don't bring the conversation here. Don't bring it here.
I want to hear this.
Mark looks Igbo.
Igbo.
I always thought so.
I agree.
My Nigerian friends will have a lot to say, I'm sure.
Lagos is a place to go. You can go to Badagry. That's on the outskirts of Lagos. Also, you can see a lot of history about the slavery there. You could see, like the same thing in Ghana, the point of no return, where people would the exit onto where the boats were. You can see there's a museum there where you can see the shackles and all that stuff. Ghana is just about 30 minutes flight from Lagos. You can go to Ghana from Lagos. Lagos is just the central point to go to. Lagos is pretty safe to go to, like a tourist.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go to Lagos. To be honest, honestly speaking, I wouldn't advise it, but you can go around in Lagos without really technically. Yeah,
We going with you though. We going with you. So you let me.
You can hop in an Uber. You can hop in an Uber in Lagos and go anywhere. Practically, that's what I just meant.
Okay.
Oh, someone said Marcus Fulani.
that there now?
Is it?
Wow.
No.
Mark is the president's brother.
Yeah, is it? No, I think it's really important we have these kind of conversations, though,
for sure.
because the linkage obviously is there. We all know the history, but do we know enough of it? And do we have Africa or Nigeria? I don't want to fall into the trap of saying Africa is many countries, and that's something that we're taught to do, is treat it all as one, but we know it is not. So I don't want to fall into that trap. So let me say we should visit countries in Africa, and we should have those on our lists that we want to go to. So I think it's important. Hopefully conversations like these and the guys in the audience there would actually increase their curiosity in countries in Africa to go visit. So I think it's good. I think it's good.
Awesome.
So it's been a good conversation. So so Remy, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed my time. Yeah. When next you guys invite me over to the Caribbean, to Barbados, where's Philip from?
Barbados as well.
He don't sound Bajan. We tell him he's talk a little posh all the time, but
Has made my day, that has.
he's from Barbados too. He's a Bajan.
Yeah, but I'm from the city.
Oh, you're talking about.
Yeah,
Where's Andre from? Is Andre not from the city?
No, as a
No.
country boy. I'm a country boy, man. As a country boy.
Okay.
That's a difference.
But now I know Philip is really Yoruba. He's 44%. Yoruba.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go. He will now
Well,
not let us live that down.
No.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I actually surprised he didn't turn up in the dashiki
my
top there.
dashiki.
So
Yeah,
I
I was going to.
shocked.
I was surprised.
shocked. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
for
going
sure.
to.
Because I was
sure.
surprised that he didn't turn up in that, because you know how it is. How
Yeah.
he likes to exude that, which is a good thing.
44%.
Embrace it.
Yeah, he embraces his 44%. He embraces his 44%.
Yeah. Man,
That's
rightfully so, man. Rightfully so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you as my cousins. I mean, to be honest, right now, I mean, I wish as a young kid I knew that Caribbeans were my cousins. I just we thought well, I shouldn't speak for everyone, but I saw them as just other black people.
Yeah.
So I would but and then if I see a Nigerian when I got to this country, if I saw another Nigerian, we like how we black Nigerians, we see each other, and we just give ourselves a Nigerian nod.
The nod.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the nod. Yeah.
As well.
Now I want to rewind the clock back and every single Jamaican and Bajan and I wanted to, oh yeah, brother.
When this all open up, we heading down to Barbados. Don't worry.
Yeah, man.
We can reconnect you.
A big Caribbean party is coming.
You understand?
You bring your rice.
You bring the jollof.
I'll bring
We
the
bring
jollof,
we
man.
bring the macaroni pie. And
Who will bring the plantain? Who will bring the plantain?
oh, plenty of that down there. Don't worry about that. You just find somebody tree and pick some of them. Don't worry. You'll find some plantain. Don't worry. But Remy, thanks a lot for joining. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Likewise, bye. Likewise.
All
Thanks,
right.
Mark.
See you
Thanks,
soon.
Have a
Flip.
good one.
Yeah,
Andre?
thanks a lot, man.
Bye.
Have a good one.
God bless. Yeah.
That was definitely good.
Yeah, man.
That was good. I like that we could talk about something so serious and deep as what's going on with SARS, but still have a bit more lighthearted conversation around our cultural connections.
Important.
That's always good.
Yeah, like I said, in here trying to figure out where you are the 56% coming from, but anyhow,
You can't
Because
tell
you
by
notice
my
you
accent.
didn't tell me that. And that's what threw off Remy, that Remy couldn't figure out where he was from. She's like,
anyhow, no, but you're right. And I saw a couple of people join us late. And if you joined the stream late, the show late today, listen, we had Omar on at the beginning with Remy, and you might have to watch back just to catch the full show today to get a full feel for what we were talking about. Sorry, Dre, go ahead.
no, that's fine. No, like, I really enjoyed today, and I think, when we look around, our social media stream, Caribbean people were well on board with supporting Nigerians in the End SARS campaign. People changed their banners. They had up the BLM fist in the Nigerian flag, that kind of stuff. But I don't think Nigerians would have realized the support that was coming from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this conversation was so important, that they could see that, their cousins are supporting them in their fight as well. Because you're right, I think, Philip, you were alluding to it as well, about how little media attention it may have gotten, even here, where there's a huge Nigerian constituents here in the UK, that you would say that this should be news for the UK as well.
Yeah.
But it isn't really. It probably had a few news items here and there over a couple of weeks, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, and some of the media attention it got was conflating it with what was happening in the US, BLM.
Yes.
As well as
Purposefully
looking at
so.
COVID and the pandemic.
Yeah, I love when we do shows like this where we become the bridge for something that I saw was very important that isn't being covered as well, and that Caribbean element isn't coming out as well as, and that is why We Global and these Caribbean conversations are so important. I love it.
No, I think it's great. And guys in the audience, we saw your comments. Therese, I think I saw your comment. Was it you that said you were drinking sorrel and milk somewhere you went to?
I saw that discussion going on there.
Philip would try that.
Of course.
In
That could be
Senegal?
dangerous, though.
That sounds right up Philip Street.
It sounds so to me. Avril, as usual, thank you for joining.
That's the only thing. So you gotta get a certain. Can't be too young, the sorrel. Otherwise, it will be too
Ask her around me when the sorry milk.
Sorry,
You
Yeah.
keep that north.
yeah. You keep that with the Yorubas. You cheated.
And get a nice sorrel nog.
No. I alright with that. Will Fry, thanks for joining. Ayana, we see you there. Julian Rogers, I saw you in as well. Thank you there. As we all struggle with our map of Jamaica, so thank you. It was Montego Bay is what we were talking. Alicia, thanks. Karen Douglas, thank you. Saw you in there as well. Patrice, Jennifer. I think I mentioned Avra before.
We gotta give Avril a proper shout out because Avril was around on the lime on Tuesday night.
Yes.
She even make it before Phil, So
Yeah.
Avril,
So she made it. I didn't even make it.
Avra was one with a headache. Didn't she have a headache? She was like, "Oh Lord, I can't take it." Delhi, thanks for joining as well. Elmi as well. Thank you for joining. No, I thought it was a fantastic show. I like having these. We should probably look to. I'm seeing a series here now, Corbin. I'm seeing a potential series that we're forming. Whether we do it in the living room or whether we do it as something else, we don't know. But I'm sensing that
You're looking to go around the coast of the continent?
I feel we don't have a choice. As we said when we started with Global, it's about us telling our stories. I ain't waiting on BBC to tell me about Ghana. I ain't waiting on NBC or something to talk about whenever. I think we can do that ourselves. And I think technology gives us the opportunity to do it. And who better to do it than us, I think.
you want to address this point here from Avril? Hold on.
What's this?
When we doing the post-mortem.
When we can do a post-mortem, Avril, because a few people ask us that actually. When we going to do the post-mortem? Stay tuned.
When all the votes come.
Oh, but I tell people, don't forget that they call it for Al Gore in 2000, and he's still waiting to get
Wait
inaugurated.
till tomorrow. Tomorrow is when the big evidence can drop. Wait till tomorrow.
Evidence what? Got no evidence.
You got to see what Boss Baby can come up with.
Boss.
Oh, shoot.
Boss baby. No, that's a good one. But look, before we close up, Mark, anything else you wanna touch on that happened in the West Indies or the Caribbean at all this week? A few things happened this week.
Yeah, I think there's probably. Let me see. Let's touch on this one. I think it's important that we don't only obsess about what's happening in North America, but remember what's happening in our region, which is critical. Ralph Gonzalez is 5 consecutive terms. Somebody in St. Vincent will got to tell me what's going on there, but that's a lot of.
Or if it is good for a country to move forward, that is another thing too.
What is going on there? What's going on there?
I personally don't think it's good. 5 terms, no. Move.
Yeah, 5 terms is a long
but
time.
Congratulations, nonetheless.
Of course, congratulations. And then this one might be a little bit controversial, so let's just put up Marlon here because
you know my view here, but
he's finished with cricket, and look, he's a West Indian. He gives us some good moments in T20 finals over the years, but his retirement was announced last week that he's finished it as a professional cricketer. Yes. And that is the story of Marlon Samuels.
I like Instagram as well.
You finished with Instagram?
I don't think so.
No.
Actually, I think now that he's retired, he might get a little bit more liberty with his fingers there on Instagram. True. So you got to watch out for that. Look, while I myself not necessarily a huge fan, I recognize what he's done for West Indies cricket. And as you said, Mark, he was there. The 2 trophies, other than the World Cups we won in the early stages, he was the guy who led us to both of them. And that is not to be, taken lightly. He's given us some good moments. So I say, go off into your retirement, and thank you for the memories and thank you for the moments. And hope you enjoy your retirement.
Yeah.
So nothing at all there. Nothing wrong with that at all.
No. So
nothing wrong with that at all. Look, so everyone, thank you so much for joining us in this episode. Hope you really enjoyed it. Hope you liked it. If you haven't already, hit share so that your network can join in that conversation, albeit not live, but they can still join in the comments and whatnot. So do us a favor, hit share and let your network join the conversation as well. We're here all the time. It's us, We Global. This is the living room from me, Andre, Phil. Last words, yourself, the nod. Yeah.
44%.
The Fulani nod.
That's the Nigerian. The Yoruba. You see, he didn't even know.
Everybody in. Have a multifaceted 44%.
He get accepted a throat in one day.
We can one of them pie charts for the next show to show
Thanks, Gene.
how film breaks down.
Yeah, we should do that. Actually, we should do that. I think we can do that. We can do that. You can see how Philip break down. Look, thanks, Avril. Thanks, Gene. Saw you there just now, as well. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time. Oh Lordy, boy, call the wrong place.